This is the design of power, communicating about power. Now the desire for power, the need for power, and the want for power derives from one starting point: fear of loss. Why? It's interesting because now my statement is locking into the design of God. There are, as all understand and may know and are aware of, that there are many different forms, manifestations of gods in and of this world. You have human beings claiming to be God. You have dimensional beings previously in the past, before 2.5 years ago, claiming to be gods. You have religions claiming to believe in a God. Now, the principle and concept of God is equal to power. Human beings in this world have designed themselves and have allowed themselves and accepted themselves to be designed as apparently being limited, disempowered, powerless, hopeless, and with that, leaving them and leaving you with the experience of being exceptionally inferior. And from that, a fear grows. A fear grows from the perspective that I need and require and desire something for me to be able to survive, for me to be able to exist. Because I need to empower myself in some way through fear of losing myself in some way. Within this hopelessness, this disempowerment and limited experience of myself. So have a look. Religion is a manifestation of apparent self-empowerment. I am empowering myself by believing in a God that is powerful, or human beings that claim to be God, which is God consciousness, say, I will empower myself by becoming the very power that so many believe in. Then you have the dimensional gods or goddesses in before 2.5 years ago, when it still existed, that wanted to become the power, the creator, the God of this existence. Through fear of losing themselves within all this, which so many have done through aeons of time, and thus take control of this entire existence and become the apparent God of this existence. Now the concept of God and myself as power is interesting because God is seen to be portrayed as almighty and powerful. If that type of power really existed, human beings, then this existence would have been able to have stopped in one singular moment, become non-existent in one singular moment. And certainly if that type of power of the Almighty God apparently existed, this world would not have been the way it is. Place yourself in the apparent human being's claims as being God. Would you have allowed and accepted all of this in this world? Surely if you're God, you stand up and you take responsibility for the shit that you've accepted and allowed. There exists no God, human beings, but the God of the separate manifestation of self to empower self in some way. Now you have that elite in the world, the beings that are in apparent control and power in this world. The same thing. Power becomes an addiction, a desire. Really like like the demons used to feed off the mind energy generated emotions and feelings. That sense of power, it is quite profound for the mind, that experience of power. And you can't get enough of it. You want everything. You want it all. It just shows you how screwed up the concept of God has become in this existence. It is crazy, and it is mad, and it is insane. The entire concept of power and God. Connecting God to power. But what is interesting is that that very belief in a God of almighty power, those human beings that believe in a God of almighty power, that claim themselves to be God, already sitting on their royal asses waiting for everyone else to apparently realize themselves as God, instead of actively participating in directing and assisting and supporting human beings to stop their mind, what they're actually giving their power, energy, and self to, actually, is the elite. Human beings who believe in a God separate from self is manifesting that very God in the form of the elite in and of this world. So who's responsible for the elite existing and manifesting in this world? We all are. Each and every single one of us since the very beginning. Because the elite are the manifestation of the very God of power. Therefore, human beings, be careful of the words you speak, because you might not know what they may create. For instance, God, linking God and power together. Thank you very much. This is the design of power.